Good evening, everyone, and thank you, John, for that kind introduction. As John said, we've known each other for about a decade, and John has always been a terrific mentor and supporter of me. Although I will say, John, retirement is clearly becoming you because you're much more complimentary today than when I worked for him. So, actually, talking of mentors, I had a really pleasant surprise tonight, and I want to just point somebody out in the audience. That's Jim Shiro, who has always been a wonderful mentor and supporter of mine as well, and he's here tonight. So, thank you for being here, and thank you, John, for being here. So, I also want to thank the Spencer Educational Foundation. I'm incredibly honored by this recognition of my contribution to the industry, and I want to also congratulate my co-honoree, David Zuercher, and he gave me permission to pronounce it the Swiss way, Zuercher, so you can all practice now. And congratulations, and it's an honor to be up here with you today. I want to also thank everyone here in the audience. Thanks to your support and being here tonight. I mean, this is a wonderful foundation, and it's a very important one to the industry, and so thank you again for all your support. And finally, thank you to my co-chairs who were, relentless and worked tirelessly to raise the money that we again raised tonight. Now, I'm obviously surrounded by a very distinguished audience tonight, and many of you know when you get an award like this or recognition like this, you get all sorts of nice emails from people congratulating you, and etc. And one of the emails I got really startled me. It said something like, "Seraina, congratulations! I'm so excited to hear about your honor." But I was kind of surprised to see you get that, because I thought it was only for retiring CEOs. Sorry, David, I'm only quoting. So. So I sat there and thought about this, and I thought, gee, this really reminds me that our industry is a very traditional industry that has deep roots that go back centuries. Now, with such tradition, there is the good and the bad that comes with it, right? And the bad is, to some extent, it's really hard to change things. But the fact today is that we live in a sort of, we have unprecedented number of challenges that our industry face. And we can turn these challenges into opportunities, but some things I do think need to change in our industry. And I would just offer up a couple of thoughts. One is, I think we need to change how we focus on talent, and hence why I'm here tonight for the Spencer Foundation. And two is, we need to really think hard about how we deal with innovation in order to keep up with the changing risk landscape. So let me talk a bit about talent. Now, if I ask people here in the audience to give me a raise of hands as to who ended up in the industry by accident, and don't worry, I'm not going to make you work. You can keep sipping your wine, because I know the answer. It would be at least 2/3 in here that would raise their hand. And to me, that's startling. I mean, how does this feel right to you? We're a $1.8 trillion industry, 1.8 trillion industry. It's a pretty sizable industry, although I used to think that until you realize that number pales against our national debt. But anyway, we're an industry that we're an industry that our products and services touch literally every aspect of human endeavor, from the most fundamental to the most complex. Yet we attract people by accident. Every year the Fortune magazine actually publishes a survey about, graduating MBA students, and they ask them where they want to go to work. And Google has been the #1 company for the last couple of years, and they have been in the top 3 for some time. And, I went actually back and looked at it, and I just think in your mind, how many insurance companies made that top 100 list? The answer is none. None. No, none of the, not one, we didn't make the top 100 of MBA graduates. Now, to me, that is just disappointing and astonishing. We are an industry that offers such wonderful opportunities for people, both in terms of professional and personal development. And I thought, tonight when we saw Drew and Gisselle up here, that was a real testament, of that. So, to me, that is really disappointing. And you can ask the question, well, why is Google #1, right? And Google Google is obviously a really cool company, a techie company. They have great benefits. They have canteens and give food to everyone. I mean, this is all great. But, one of the things that they do when they really stand out and they differentiate themselves is they have probably the most innovative technique in terms of how they recruit talent. There is nothing accidental about how Google goes after talent and brings them into the organization. And I think as an industry, we can learn from that. And if we want to master the challenges of the future, that's going to be and continue to be very important to us. The second point I wanted to make is just about innovation. So, we all agree the world is becoming a riskier place. And, if you look at the GDP growth over the last decade, it grew, on average by about 3.7% per annum. And if you look at the share of the insurance industry of that GDP, it actually declined from 3.4% to 2.8%. Now, we all say we live in a riskier world. To me, that sounds counterintuitive. And there's a lot of reasons that you could cite, right, why the share went down, such as, alternate capital structures that are available out there, or, the impact of regulation on our industry. But one of the things that I think we're not doing well as an industry is we are not keeping pace. We're not keeping pace with the change that's happening. And I think that sort of the pace of change is actually, in fact, the enemy of our industry, of such a traditional industry who's got the deep roots. Think about what's happening in the world. We have, the periods where you have, or how we underwrite risks and look at long data sets as an example. The periods where you have really long data sets to look at risks and analyses, they're a thing of the past. They're finished. Whole industries come and go during this time today. The top 10 jobs in demand in 2010 didn't actually exist in 2004. Or if you look at it differently, taking more from a student, looking at it more from a student perspective, we are preparing today's students for jobs that don't exist yet. They're going to be using technology that hasn't been invented yet to solve problems that we don't even know are problems yet. I mean, this is pretty mind-boggling, right? This is not an easy challenge. And I would say us as an industry, we haven't kept up and we haven't kept pace with that change. Now, obviously, this is very complex, but one of the things that we do have, there is, volume of data out there, and we need to overcome our natural risk aversion and find ways to search for parallels and insights into the volume of data and not in the length of data, and start getting comfortable, understand, and staying ahead of a riskier and riskier world so that we can innovate new products. And I recognize that is a great challenge for us as an industry, but I also think the opportunity is great. If you just look at some of the emerging risks that are out there, and I name just two of them, technology, and the other one is, the supply chain, or the kind of interconnectedness of the economy. So if you look at technology and you think about the role the insurance industry has played in the past decade, we have had some new products come online, such as cyber liability. But then if you think about what are we good at insuring as an industry, right? We're really good at insuring physical things. But then when it comes to things that are created online and stored online, we're not so good at that as an industry, right? We're still lagging behind. But the fact is most of the value is created in these new sectors. In 2011, digital music sales for the first time exceeded the physical music sales. So that trend is only going to continue. And what have we done as an industry? We have created something, but I would challenge us that we've nearly not done enough, and there is opportunity out there to be part of that as an industry. Now let's look at the interconnectedness of the economy, or the supply chain. Now, how long have we been talking about just-in-time manufacturing and sort of outsourcing and offshoring, at least for the last 10 to 20 years, right? But yet, when we had the earthquake and the tsunami hit Japan, we were surprised as an industry by the size of the CBI losses, right? And we were even more surprised when the floods came into Thailand by the size of the flood losses. So I would say, have we kept pace with the industry, with the world, how it's changing? I would challenge us that we didn't keep pace with that. And this is something we have to overcome. And I said that before, we have to find a way to get comfortable with, understand, and really find solutions for our clients and not shy away from risks, which we tend to typically do, so we can participate in the growing economy. So, and that is why I'm so supportive also of the Spencer Foundation, because the work that they're doing and the investment they make in education is going to benefit us as an industry. And I just want to thank you all again for your support. Let's make sure we attract the right talent to our industry. Let's not make us accidental, right? And so we can really master all the challenges that are going to be coming our way. Thank you.
They want to get a picture.